chance we will know each other better. Talk things over day by day. Learn something new. Maybe love will ensue. Why can't we speak our truth about?
And so, of course, this isn't just theory. I'm still being called a hack for this. But many Indians live well over a century. My great grandfather, for example, lived to be 111 years old. His first wife lived to be 105, which is my great grandmother. And he had 5 wives, and only one did not reach a century. Today, all Indians have lost about 20 years of that lifespan. A lot of this has to do with diet change and a more sedentary lifestyle. But the adding of wood ash was once found among all Indian tribes, and is a salt substitute to turn vital nutrients in the body. So this is still being done by many Western Navajo families as well as the Hopi. It is a cultural requirement among the Hopi people when they make piki to bring it back to more of a bush color, but also it's supposed to strengthen the body. This is what the young Hopi mother will eat. She also, of course, will drink water. But this 20-day period is also considered a transitional time for the Hopi infant and the Hopi culture. And for those of you who are wondering about the church, you can actually see the remains of the church to the right. See the bell tower, the doors and the windows. Again, that's off limits to everybody. Even the Hopi will not go there. But we'll be passing by the bell that once hung there, which was struck by lightning. So I'll point that out as we pass through the lower community here called Hopi. But as I was explaining, transitional period for that infant. And the Hopi cultures believe that every individual, every Hopi has 2 sets of parents. Spiritual parents as well as physical parents. This is symbolic. It's a type of handoff. So both mother and child are kept in darkness. That infant must not be exposed to the Creator, the sun, till the morning of the 20th day. So this is also where the culture varies among the Hopi. What I'm going to share with you now is found among the villages south of here. During this 20-day period, the mother and child are visited by the mother's sisters, the infant's maternal aunts, who will each take turns cleaning that child. They also will each give that infant a name. So all of these names will be used throughout the year. But the name that was used the most by the time the bean dance occurs will become that Hopi infant's name. The maternal aunt who had given it is also honored with a naming ceremony. And that child is then adopted into her society. She now becomes a godmother. The use of godparents is also found in every Indian culture. So it's a very important time of year. But in villages north of here, there are a couple of other variations. Just north of here, during this 20-day period, the mother and child are visited by the infant grandmothers, both maternal and paternal, who also will help cleanse. They have to remain out of sight. It's a lot like, confession. During confession, you never see the religious person. Yeah, remain behind a screen. Same concept can be applied to what the men are doing. Cannot be seen as human, because when they do emerge, they are representing spirits. So it does involve that sense of reverence, but also it's done so children will not see their fathers dressing up as spirits. Because the children see that, it's a lot like children today. If they see dad dressing up as Santa Claus, they stop believing in Santa Claus. That's when the culture starts to fade away. So that's what the men are actually doing. They have to remain out of sight, not only for ceremonial purposes, but also eventually they will represent Katina.
So they do dress up during that?
Yes, they do. Right now, many of the men are covering their bodies with soot, charcoal, so that they really won't be recognized. Again, they can't allow their children to see that it's them. And so it's again a lot like Santa Claus. Dads who dress up like Santa Claus never allow their children to see them dressing up. That belief will never go away. So right now, this time of day, they're putting on soot, covering their bodies with soot, blackening themselves. So symbolically, it's also a transitional period. They will eventually represent Katinas or spirits. So I hope that somewhat clarifies things. A little bit. Okay, any other questions? No? Okay, folks. Quiet time, a little more than 3 minutes. But we're going to play or listen to Tony Hillerman's Skinwalkers. And as always, any questions, just feel free to ask. Our next stopping point is going to be in the little town of Luke, which should be in about 25 to 30 minutes. So, once again, Tony Hillerman's Skinwalker. There is a final exam. I gotta let you guys know that. Essay form.
Skinwalkers, Thief of Time, and Coyote Waits. Each written in red by Tony Hillerman. Included at the end, an excerpt from Tony Hillerman's memoir, Seldom Disappointed. Also read by Tony Hillerman. And now, here is Skinwalkers. When the cat came through the little trapdoor at the bottom of the screen, made a clack-clack sound.
Geechee had been turning uneasily on the narrow bed, pressing himself against the metal tubes that braced the aluminum skin of his trailer. He sorted out the bedclothing, uneasy about the cat. What had chased it in? But in a moment he was fully awake, and the uneasiness gave way to thoughts about tomorrow. Today, actually, since it must be well after midnight. Today, he and Jay Kennedy would go out and arrest Roosevelt Bisty. Not a complicated job, but unpleasant enough to cause G to change the subject of his thinking. He thought about the cat. What had frightened him? A coyote, maybe. Or what? Obviously something the cat considered a threat. The cat had appeared last winter, finding itself a sort of a den under a juniper east of Chee's trailer. During the spring, she had formed a habit of leaving out table scraps to feed it after heavy snow. Then, one afternoon when there was nothing else to do, he had removed the door, hacksawed out a cat-sized rectangle through its bottom frame, and attached a plywood flap, using leather hinges and miracle glue. He had done it on a whim, partly to see if this ultra-cautious cat could be taught to use it. Chee's interest had been curiosity. The cat had been owned by someone. He was skinny now, with a long scar over his ribs and a patch of fur missing from his right leg. But it had a purebred look. Could such an animal bred and raised by the white man, call up enough of his hunting instincts to survive in the Navajo? Chee's curiosity gradually turned to admiration. By early summer, the animal had accumulated wisdom with its scar tissue. It stopped trying to hunt prairie dogs, concentrate on small rodents and birds. It learned how to hide, how to escape, It learned how to endure. It also learned to use the water bowl she had left inside his trailer rather than make the long climb down to the river. But he'd come inside at night only once before, driven in by a pack of dogs that had flushed it out of its den. She looked around the trailer, too dark to see where the cat had gone. He yawned, stretched, went to the sink, drank a palmful of water warm from the tap. He'd seen a coyote's tracks along the river a few days ago, but it would have been a terribly hungry coyote to hunt this close to his trail. No dogs tonight. At least he hadn't heard it. And dogs, unlike coyotes, were easy enough to hear. Probably a coyote. What else? She stood beside the sink, leaning on it, yawning. Tomorrow would be unpleasant. Kennedy said he would be at Cheese Trailer at 8 a.m. The FBI agent was never late. Then a long drive into Lukachukai to find a man named Bisty and ask him why he had killed an old man named Dugai Indochini with a butcher. She had been a tribal policeman for 7 years now, and he knew he'd never learned to like this part of the job, this dealing with sick minds, in a way that would never bring them back to harmony. The federal way of curing Bisty would be to haul him before a magistrate, charge him with homicide on a federal reservation, and lock him away. Ah, well, she thought, most of the job he liked. Tomorrow he would just endure. He smiled to himself, remembering how he had endured that incident with the welfare. Enough money, not now, to get it fixed. All the money had gone with the birth of the boy, with the time they had to spend at the hospital while the doctors looked at him. Anencephaly, the doctor had called it. See, the woman there had said, and she had brushed back the thin hair on the top of boy child's head. But it had already been apparent. The top of the head was almost flat. The brain is not formed.
I think I'd like to stay at the Hyatt.
This is a nice way to wind down the day with the story and the music.
Yeah. Boy, there looks like there's some nice stores here.
There's a lot of things in.
Wow, what a huge place to.
Yeah, and some have left and others have moved in since the last time we were here.
Nice place to stroll tomorrow. Park right here.
Thought you were gonna go that my way, so turn around.
That was 1898. That's where we did. That's where we did eat. Well, that was 1898. It's still there, and it just looks so different at night, doesn't it?
This is us home.
Yes, I know. I know, Karen. I know.
They had a concert at Sedona at the Summit on this.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
I don't know what day that was, but look at the stores here.
High-end
Shops, oh yeah.
shopping.
Yeah. This is the turnaround.
Okay, folks, make sure you have your. All right, all right. Finally get out.